All right, we are live on YouTube. Yeah. Freddie B's birthday. Got a little bit of a cold coming off my Maui trip. A little bit of a cold. Check. 1, 2, 3. Yes, Mike Martinez. I'm doing good, Mike. Thanks for being here. Thanks for subscribing, clicking on the like button. Let's do some radio, man. Let's do some radio. Out of the gate, JT with you live on YouTube, live on Raider Nation Radio, live all over the globe on the flagship of the Silver and Black. Happy Friday, man. Feels like a Friday. I have my bucket of Modelo's ready for 2 o'clock. My bucket of Modelo's will be on ice. I put them on ice at around 1. Then I had the dripping wet ice around the bucket of Modelo's. And then by some point today, I will have my bucket of Modelo's and celebrate Friday. Last week, I was in Maui at this time watching whales jump up in the air. Now I'm back here in Vegas. Weather getting nicer, warmer. And tonight, the championship game between Bishop Gorman and Coronado. Wow, basketball in town. I'm going. I'm excited. Ray Brewer, Brew Crew, longtime friend, unbelievable high school and sports insider. He'll join us at the bottom of the hour. You better believe I'm talking about the state championship in high school basketball today in Vegas. That is really big. Plus, the focus of the show, happy birthday to Fred Biletnikoff. Freddie B's birthday today, everybody, 81 years young. That's the focus of my monologue, brought to you by PTs. They fuel the monologue. 2 happy hours a day, 5 to 7, midnight to 2. Go celebrate Fred Biletnikoff Day today in Vegas as we open up the show. I'm looking for a few Fred Biletnikoff calls in the first hour exclusively on Freddie B. The impact that he's had on your life as a player and a person, I don't even know if I have enough phone lines for you. It's Freddie Biletnikoff's birthday. I celebrate this national treasure in the Raider Nation, Florida State, Pro Football Hall of Fame, like a second father to me. I got one dad. My dad's my hero. I got one dad, my role model, and Freddie Biletnikoff. I feel like out west here, he's the guy that I talk to every day. Talked to him today, wished him a happy birthday, and he's got a busy day today. Going to do a lot with his wife, Angela. So let's wish Fred Biletnikoff. Get it trending. Go there. The Raiders already put out a tweet. Happy birthday to Fred. You know, all the times I've been blessed to hang out with Fred, introduce him at events, countless times. I always say, the obvious. He's the Super Bowl MVP, a Super Bowl 11, right? Multiple Pro Bowls, Hall of Famer, right? The college football receiver awards named after him. Think of Randy Moss, Marvin Harrison Jr., Larry Fitzgerald, all the great wide receivers, those who won the Biletnikoff Award, but he's a better father to his children, friend, and just a legend. Good person, a confidant to Mark Davis and Mrs. Davis and the entire organization. And we should celebrate him. And I think we should do more of that. Now, I'm going to talk about it next hour, too, that when we do have Raider legends who are over the age of 70, 75, 80 years old, we should take the opportunity on their birthday to talk about them, right? We don't want to talk about people when they're no longer here. We want to talk about Freddie. He's going to live a long, long life, but, we've had him on in the summer. His golf tournament's coming up. So let's talk about Freddie today and the impact that what was the greatest catch you ever saw Biletnikoff make? What was his greatest game? I saw AFL Godfather tweet out today the first game he ever played. The first game he ever played as a Raider was insane. I mean, the stat line was incredible as he came out of Florida State. Could have been a Detroit Lion, but ended up being a Raider. So if you look at his career and what he was able to do, he is a 1967 AFL champion, a two-time AFL All-Star, four-time Pro Bowler, two-time All-Pro, Super Bowl MVP, Pro Football Hall of Famer. And man, when you take a look at the impact that he had on my life and your life, I think it's incredible. So let's wish Freddie B a tremendous, unbelievable birthday today. And let's get that going because Freddie's a treasure. He really is a treasure to me and to you in the Raider Nation. And again, a lot of people are coming in on the YouTube, JT the Brick, YT on YouTube, where you could see my brick backdrop. My wife did this in the house, home studio. She went to Amazon and she bought a brick backdrop here. So you got a nice backdrop here, got the microphones working, and we're on the radio today. A couple other things about Fred Biletnikoff. Freddie's active with the team still. He sits on the bench with Hunter Renfrow, sits on the bench with Marvin Lewis. He's welcome in the building. Antonio Pierce, coaches before, same thing. Once a Raider, always a Raider. If you get Fred Biletnikoff to talk to you, if you're Devontae Adams or you're Jacoby Myers, and he can give you just a little bit of knowledge on how to toe tap, how to make that catch on the sideline, you listen, because he made bigger catches in crunch time than any other Raider who's ever lived, with all due respect to Cliff Branch, Art Powell, all the other legends who played. Think of all the catches that Freddie B made that were game changers. And Fred had one of the greatest winning percentages in NFL history, winning percentages in his career, and just fantastic. It's great that this organization, and we're waiting for him to win again. We want him to win, and we're hoping it's coming. Super Bowls, but Fred played in a lot of big games, and he coached in a lot of big games. So he is the backdrop of Raider history. So going forward, we're going to do this for Ted Hendricks. We're going to do this for Jim Otto. We're going to do it for Tom Flores and any other Raider who's getting up there in age. We can celebrate a 24-year-old birthday or a Raider who's 30. But I think on days like today, I make it Fred Biletnikoff Day. JT the Brick proclamation today in Vegas is Fred Biletnikoff Day. Let's cherish Freddie B as we get going. That's the show today. I wanted to talk about Fred. We did a lot on Antonio Pierce. I'll talk about it more also throughout the show. The Mahomes rules, everybody's talking about it. We did a lot on it yesterday. A lot of Raider fans came in and talked about that. So today before the show, part of my show prep is I called Phil Villapiano, and we talked about this topic for about 10 minutes. And Phil's really sharp. He's one of the greatest linebackers in Raider history. He's a Super Bowl champion. He said, as long as it's within the rules. Phil played in the time where Raider players really put their hands and made their hands stronger with wraps, wink, wink. You know what I'm talking about? Gave a little extra when the player went on the ground. Phil played in that era, but we talked about Antonio Pierce's comments, and Phil said, just play within the rules. But he agreed the quarterback has to go down, like Mr. Davis said in the first 15 plays, and goes down hard. So no need to injure Patrick Mahomes. No offense taken. The goal is not to injure him. The goal is to tackle him hard, hit him legally, and let him know you're there. And everybody this week, so not everybody, but Mike Greenberg at ESPN, my friend Mike Florio, a lot of other people are writing about this, and they have nothing else to write about, so they want to create some Raider drama. Stephen A. did a segment on it again today, the Mahomes rules. I think it's good content. I enjoyed this week talking about this because it reset the coaching staff. And the fact that Antonio Pierce is now the head coach of the team, the interim tag's off, and he just wants to play a little bit more aggressive within the rules. That's the way he played as a New York Giant. See what the New York Giants and Antonio Pierce did to Tom Brady in the Super Bowl? Do you remember that? I was there. I was there for it. They hit Brady. They pounded Brady. Brady couldn't step up and throw in the pocket because of O.C. Umenyiora, Michael Strahan, Tuck, Antonio Pierce. They won 2 Super Bowls over Brady. And if you look at the combinations of their pass rush and their linebackers, the reason they won the game was the defensive line. The New York Giants won 2 Super Bowls under Tom Coughlin, who now consults with the Raiders. I don't know what his official title is, because the Giants' defensive line, without bringing pressure from linebackers, were able to get to Tom Brady. Isn't that exactly the plan to get to Mahomes? Without having to blitz, because he eats you up on the blitz. He just dumps it off to Pacheco. Travis Kelce's open. If you rush 4 against Mahomes and Kuntz and Mad Max are getting to Mahomes and the ball comes out and they're burying Mahomes and knocking his ass to the ground, that's how they beat him on Christmas Day. Let's just do more of it. But remember, Kansas City has the upper hand in this rivalry. Kansas City doesn't care about the Mahomes rules. Kansas City just won the Super Bowl in Las Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. They don't care about any of this topic. They're in Cancun. Matter of fact, last night, according to Johnny Katz, Patrick Mahomes was at Carver Steak at Resorts World, one of our proud partners, having dinner with the table of 20. What the hell's Patrick Mahomes doing in Vegas after winning the Super Bowl in Vegas? He's still here celebrating. So we got to slow this guy's roll, man. We got to slow him down a bit. So the Mahomes rules, I'm all for it. There were the Jordan rules. If you watched The Last Dance and you know about that, my Knicks were the greatest team against Jordan, the best team to play against him. Not Greg Ostertag in Utah and Thunder Dan Marley in Phoenix. You know how many times Jordan got to the NBA Finals and it was over? It was over before it started because he had to go through the Knicks. And the Knicks would beat Jordan down. And if he went down the middle of the lane against Anthony Mason, Patrick Ewing, they would just crush Jordan. But Jordan was able to elevate over Ewing and dunk on him and win. But I tell you, man, Jordan knew when he went into the Garden and played the Knickerbockers, the rugby style of the Knicks back in the day, that he was going to have a couple of bruises on him. It's Michael Jordan. And Patrick Mahomes is now officially the Michael Jordan of the NFL. So that was a big topic this week. And for those who want to still talk about it, got an open line for you. And to wish Freddie B a happy birthday at 702-365-9200, 702-365-9200, or you can come in on the chat where we got a lot of people chatting. We'll do this live chat on YouTube for about an hour today as we get going. Later in the show, I'm going to go to Sydney, Australia, and talk to the CEO of the National Rugby League. They're coming to Vegas next weekend, rugby in Vegas at Allegiant Stadium. I played rugby for 4 years in college. It was a fantastic experience. Rugby's coming here. You won't believe how many hotel rooms the Aussies already have. I mean, Australia's taken over Vegas, man. They're playing at Allegiant Stadium in games that count, games that really count in their season back in Australia. So that's going to be pretty cool. We'll get into that next hour. And then Ray Brewer at the bottom of the hour on this Bishop Gorman Coronado game tonight, state championship. Look, my kids both went to Gorman. I'm a Bishop Gorman dad. I haven't liked their unfair advantage in town for a long time. I haven't. I don't like when Gorman runs up the score in football 70-0. Never been a fan of it, but they dominate because they're able to recruit out of the state. They're able to do that, and they just won a national championship game in football. Hasn't been that easy lately in basketball. There's some great basketball here in Las Vegas, and Coronado will get their shot tonight. And I'm looking forward to going to the game there. So that's the monologue brought to you by PTs. Again, I want to hear from everybody on Fred Biletnikoff and what Fred Biletnikoff meant. The show started 15 minutes ago. It doesn't start 15 minutes from now. It's Friday. Wake up the Raider Nation. We got the Combine next week. Vinny Bonsignore, Q Myers, the team's going to go there. We're going to have some good Combine content over the next week or two as these guys get in their underwear or their short shorts and they run the 40 and they go through the cone drills. But the most important thing they do at the Combine is they sit down with the teams, and the teams are able to interview them and find out the type of guy they are. You know, you look at Tyree Wilson, why the Raiders took him 7th overall. I think he did a pretty good job in his interview. He was injured. Not able to play, but he went through that interview process and the Raiders fell in love with him. One thing about the first pick in the draft, you got to love the player. and everybody's now talking about the Raiders going up and getting a quarterback. I saw some knucklehead online say, well, what if the Raiders aren't in love with the first three quarterbacks? What? You find a way to fall in love with Jaden Daniels, Drake May, and Caleb Williams. If you're not interested, you find a way to be interested in those guys. Then you got to really like Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., who's going to throw at the combine, we found out, or J.J. McCarthy. If J.J. McCarthy out of the national champion Michigan Wolverines is taken number 13 overall, he will be drafted by the Raiders to be the franchise quarterback, the first one since Derek Carr. When Derek was drafted, and Derek reworked his deal today, Derek Carr had $30 million coming this year, reworked the contract as New Orleans always does that. We need a franchise quarterback in Las Vegas. Might be Aiden O'Connell. Truly might be. If Aiden O'Connell earns that job, more power to Aiden. But he needs some competition in the building. And it's going to be pretty expensive to go into the top three. And yesterday, we got a lot of feedback, a little bit of feedback on Russell Wilson. Let me clarify my point again on Russell Wilson. If you can get Russell Wilson on a very cheap, I'm talking very cheap deal, and Russell Wilson got so much guaranteed money coming to him from Denver. I mean, he never has to play again. And he had a pretty good year last year, really good year last year. And he's available because Denver couldn't deal with Russell Wilson. Sean Payton was too cool for school, just didn't like him. I broke that story. I told you that before all these other national guys, because I know some of the people in the Denver organization. They didn't like Russell Wilson. I don't know why. Maybe they didn't like him. They thought he was, they tried to get rid of his personal trainer. They tried to get rid of his private coach. Sean Payton took that job in Denver looking to run Russell Wilson out of Denver, and he did. But what happened was a benefit to the Silver and Black, because as Russell Wilson got run out of Denver, it screwed up their entire cap. They don't have a lot of draft equity. They want to go up and get another quarterback. Now, Denver's a mess. We need Denver to remain a mess. We need the Chargers to have some cap issues in the first year or two. Now that Tom Telesco's gone, we need Jim Harbaugh to be able to go, wait a second, I got to get rid of Khalil Mack or Joey Bosa or Derwin James because we don't have enough money. Yeah, I need that to happen in Los Angeles with the Chargers, because I know Kansas City's loaded. Kansas City don't have cap problems. They'll fix it. And Kansas City even has an advantage over the Raiders. More players want to play for Kansas City's three-peat, which they think is upcoming, and play for less money in Kansas City, because that's what dynasties do. Dynasties like the Spurs and the Yankees. The Yankees, for example, hey, you want to go play DH or right field for the Yankees? You're going to take less money because we're paying Derek Jeter, Mariano Rivera. We're paying all the stars of the Yankees, but you want to catch a ring. Yeah, you go play for the Yankees, get a ring. That's what's happening now with Kansas City. We in Las Vegas have to find ways to get free agents to want to play in Las Vegas because of the stadium, the headquarters, no state taxes, the golf, the lifestyle, everything. Vegas has got an advantage over a lot of other cities there. We got to start using that. I got to start finding some guys who want to play for cheap, kind of come over and help Max Crosby get to the playoffs. It's a big topic we're going to be talking about here in the offseason. So I'm ready to roll. Hopefully you're ready to roll. Wish Fred Biletnikoff, you'll feel so much better about yourself tonight when you go out to dinner, you go have a cerveza, that you called in and said happy birthday to Freddie B. Ryan in Los Angeles starts us off on the Raiders mobile app. Go ahead, Ryan. Mm-hmm. Thank you. I appreciate that. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yes. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but my friend, and I don't think the coach did anything wrong, but you can only go so far. You can't, and he didn't do it. He didn't threaten the quarterback. He didn't say he wanted to hurt him. But the league can't thrive if every coach wants to take out a quarterback and say it verbally. And I don't think he went to the edge, but a lot of people think he did. We're all good with it here because we love the coach. We want him to win. But I understand why people have opinions about this around the country because normally a coach doesn't have the balls to say this. I mean, the most famous soundbite in Raider history might be Al Davis saying the quarterback must go down hard in the first 15 plays. You don't hear that from other owners. You don't hear another 30 owners saying that. So there's only a few people who can say this and actually mean it. Mm. No, I agree. Mhm. Yes. Mhm. Yep. Yep. Mhm. I got it. I got to run, my friend. I'm happy you're listening. Appreciate you very much. Thanks for finding me again. You know, that guy went to jail, was incarcerated. I used to do a segment on my nighttime show, JT the Brick Jail Mail, where guys would write me in jail, and literally I'd read the letters on the radio. Because when people are incarcerated, they listen to sports radio and they do push-ups and they listen to sports radio. And a lot of guys I made that connection to behind bars, and I'm happy you've gotten back into society and are doing great things. Greatly appreciate that. Good to hear from you. If you can't hear the callers on the live stream, you can't. You're here to listen to me. If you want to listen to the callers, you got to download Raider Nation Radio on the Raiders mobile app or listen on lvsportsnetwork.com. Look, I'm all for, I don't want anybody to get injured. I don't. There are some fans in all sports that want to see, you want to play the other team when the best player's out. I'm not that guy. I want to play the best team at full strength. But I'm also into hitting the quarterback legally. That's the era I grew up with in football. Hit the quarterback and hit the quarterback hard, not helmet to helmet. You can't land on him anymore. It's very difficult when the ball comes out from Mahomes clean to hit him, follow through with the hit, and drive him into the ground and not stay on top of him. That's 15 yards, man. That's 15 yards. I'm not into giving a team like Mahomes 15 yards. But what I like to do with Mahomes is when he runs, a lot of times Mahomes runs the football and he doesn't slide. And that's where Mahomes has got to get blasted legally. He's got to get tattooed legally. Where if he's running straight ahead for 13 yards, that's why I want a mobile quarterback. I want first and goal at the 9. I want a naked bootleg. I want Jaden Daniels running into the end zone, holding the ball up, no one near him. I need a quarterback on first and goal at the 5 who can run it twice on his own into the end zone. That's what Mahomes does. We don't have that advantage here in Las Vegas. We need a quarterback who can run when the pocket breaks down and get touchdowns. That's what Lamar Jackson does. Playoffs. You know, who's the best at it other than Mahomes? By far, Josh Allen. Playoffs. Patrick Mahomes, Super Bowls, even Brock Purdy. Even Brock Purdy last year did a hell of a job with that. Raiders 66. Raiders 66 in Vegas on Fred Biletnikoff's birthday. I know I'd hear from you. How are you? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Mm-hmm. 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 Yes. Mm-hmm. Thank you. Yeah, no, that's a great. I didn't know that about Freddie B. That's why I like to put callers on listeners on the radio who know more than me. And Raider 66 knows a lot more than me, Raider Mort. A lot of callers here that are invested in the history of the Raiders. And that's a great stat for Fred Biletnikoff. Freddie B was the greatest hands receiver, arguably, of all time. And there's been a few of them. Steve Largent, who's great friends with Fred Biletnikoff. Steve Largent, oh my God, how great was he? Randy Moss, Hall of Famer. Not a favorite of the Raiders. But when you think of a guy on 3rd and 8 that needed to go 9 yards and catch the ball and keep his feet in bounds, who can you name anyone better than Biletnikoff? Maybe Jerry Rice. So Freddie's got a big, big, big legacy, not only as a Raider, but as a Florida State legend. And obviously a Pro Football Hall of Famer. I'm online. You can find me on YouTube. We're streaming. JT the Brick YT. It's easy to find. Subscribe, and you get the show live as we broke that out, and that's doing really well. Ray Brewer will come up next from the Las Vegas Sun on state championship basketball. Okay. Got his number in the office? Okay. All right, everybody. Again, we got to figure out this caller stuff. I need you to watch and then have the show on the Raiders mobile app or on your radio. It should be pretty easy to do both, I would hope. Yes, I have an Alice Cooper mug. Alice Cooper, friend of the show. Used to call in with his pick segment back in the day. Mile High Raider, if those yellow rags come out on every play against us, when we play Mahomes, then we know Florio will be happy. Hunter Renfrow is the next Fred Biletnikoff. I don't know about that, Fabian. I don't know about that. I don't know if I'd put Hunter in that category yet. No, that isn't the same Raider Mike who calls in. There's only one Raider Mike who called in with me with Jim Rome years ago. And he still calls from time to time. He just retired from the Air Force, by the way. Michael S. says Jim Rome and Mike Florio all over Pierce's comments regarding Kermit. The league has heard all about this, and you can expect at least 1 or 2 additional personal fouls. Well, look, they're not going to call personal fouls on the Raiders if they don't hit them. If they don't get to Mahomes, we don't have to worry about that. TT was hired because he convinced Mr. Davis he'd get him his quarterback. If he doesn't get Caleb, it's a failed offseason. Come on, original surfer Bob. That's ridiculous. If you don't get Caleb Williams, it's failed. What makes you believe that anybody's going to do a friendly deal for Caleb Williams? You lost your mind? Come on. Hey, the Violators here, man. That's an honor. Shout out to Violator. Yeah, this is my son, ASU. My son goes to ASU. Going to go out there and see him. I think 2 Fridays from now, I'm going to take a day off and go play golf with my son at Arizona State. Because you only have a son in college or 2 once in your life. And that's important to me. Go and see my kids in college. Fabian, Michael S. is Raider Mike, formerly of Fort Myers. Fort Myers, not too far from where my folks live in Naples, Florida. All right. Yeah, when I have an interview like this next one, if you can't hear it, no big deal. We're still talking about Freddie B's birthday. Hey, let me know on the chat. What's everybody doing this weekend? If you're in Vegas, you're out of market, what are you doing this weekend? What's going on? Anything cool? I'd like to know if you're going to any concerts. Are you going to any concerts? You seeing any live music? Michael says JT and Florio are friends. Yeah, we are friends. I have a lot of friends. It's good to have friends. I don't identify my friends with their jobs. I identify my friends by my friends. New podcast is out also. You can listen to that, JT and Looney. Please subscribe and download the podcast. That's the Mahomes rules. I'm good with that. JT back with you, brought to you by Tequila Commissario, the Ferrari of tequilas. We're on a conference call with them today. They're thrilled at what we're doing for their brand. Proud partner here of Raider Nation Radio. My good longtime friend Ray Brewer joins us ahead of the state championship game in basketball. Ray, good to talk to you. As you know, I'm a Gorman dad, but I love when Gorman gets pushed and has competition, especially in basketball. Tell me what's at stake tonight. This is great. And how I like to talk about the parity and what's happening here. We know the ability of Gorman to recruit and what Coach Rice has been able to do over the years. But I love the fact that there are other schools in the state and locally here in the Valley that can get great players to come in and compete at this level. What's been going right at Coronado? Because my buddy Fred Bolitnikoff Jr., we're talking about his dad, whose birthday's today, was building the football program before he left for Texas. I love hearing this about Coronado. How has the program come along so quickly? Mhm. Ray Brewer joins us. So tell us about the venue. What should we expect here in town tonight? I've been saying this. We've been friends for a long time. I don't care if it's UNLV basketball, Golden Knights, Raiders. This community needs to come together because we're now the entertainment and sports capital of the world. This is a big time event here. I'm talking the movie Hoosiers, right? I'm talking high school state basketball, where I think the community at large should come together. People should be rooting against Gorman, rooting for Coronado, and just parents who can bring kids out to go get tickets overall and have a good time. Tell me all about that. Yes. Mm, mm, mm. Ray Brewer does an amazing job, the best of the best when it's covering high school sports, college athletics, all sports here in Vegas for quite some time. So nationally, what's going on with Vegas when it comes to all different sports that you cover here? What's changed in the Valley over the last 5, 10, 15 years that's encouraging going forward, especially for all of our listeners who are leaving California and other states to come to Las Vegas for an education and to play amateur athletics at the high school level. Mhm, mhm, mhm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, Ray, again, we went to big fights together and covered so many sports together as friends, and I'm shocked that someone would. I'm nothing against Casper, Wyoming, or Boise, Idaho, and I'm fascinated every once in a while when UNLV football or basketball or any of their programs lose out, considering what we could be doing in this town with NIL. And I know some of the super casinos are traded publicly, so they can't put NIL money in there. Their investors around the world don't want to hear about that. But are we getting to the point now when it comes to D1 sports in basketball and football, the two big ones, that we should be dominating more? Again, look, if San Diego State beats UNLV in basketball, I could live with that. But I can't live with smaller communities and smaller towns that doesn't have what we have in Vegas consistently beating UNLV and other sports. I think, are we getting closer to the point where these programs could be more dominant and we could be looking at top 25 in football, top 20 in basketball? Because I remember the day in basketball when we were in town and it was like that often. Mm-hmm. 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 Hey, Ray, finally, tell us about the tip off tonight, how people can get tickets, how everyone can come out for the state championship tonight there between Gorman and Coronado, please. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Wow. Thank you, my friend. I'll see you out there tonight. Look forward to talking to you again. All the best. All right, you got it. Ray Brewer, Brew Crew. I go back with him from my Sports Fan Radio Network days. And man, what he does in this community, how he raises awareness for high school athletics, what he does at the Sun, he's fantastic. One of the great guys here in town. Happy to have him on the show today. Yeah, I'm going to go see high school basketball tonight. I'm going to go to Thomas and Mack and watch this game. And then I'm going to head over to Virgin to see my buddy JOD at the bar there at One Steak. No red meat for Lent. So JOD is going to be very disappointed, but they have tremendous fish, tremendous scallops, and an amazing chopped salad. So I'll be a part of that tonight. For those who are saying on my live stream, what was that noise? You won't believe it. It's live radio. I had my landscapers come in, blow in my backyard. I told the wife, get out there. My son, get out there. Stop them. Stop them. They're blowing. Is there anything more ridiculous? Elon Musk is putting people to Mars. We're putting people in space with rockets. How come we can't invent something better than the leaf blower? I'm dead serious. Ladies and gentlemen, is there a silent leaf blower? This is 2024. I know it's called a rake, but when they come and they blow and around and they blow the leaves around, and they do that in your community in the morning on a Saturday or Sunday, or a Friday, like it just happened here at my house there. Can't they invent something, Bobby? A leaf blower. Okay, again, we're inventing electric cars. We have aircraft carriers. We have stealth bombers. And we got men and women walking around with these leaf blowers, loud, blowing up the whole neighborhood. Can we invent this? I would buy it. I'd be a billionaire if I could come up with this invention, Bobby. I don't understand it. A stealth blower. Yeah, I think raking, I think you're right about raking. But my guys who come through, and I've always said this because I grew up a landscaper. So that's what I did. My first job, I had 100 accounts. I had 100 lawns. So I used to cut grass on Friday with lights on my mower. And the guy that I worked with, we had a lawn mowing company. We had 30 lawns, then we had 50 lawns, then we had 70 lawns. But the problem is, growing up in New York, it rained in the summertime. So if we lost one day, if it poured on a Tuesday, all of our accounts got pushed back. And then by Friday night, I wanted to go out with my buddies. I wanted to go have some cervezas. I wanted to go out with my friends and girlfriends and have fun, but I'd have to cut lawns till 8 at night. And we had to put giant flashlights on the front of our mowers to cut. And that's how I learned. That's how I, learned how to make money. So I went to college, and my dad tells the story. I'd go to college, so I'd make money all summer long. All summer long, I cut grass, a lot of grass. And then I'd go to college, and I made money. And I'd go to college, and the money would be gone in a week, 1 week. So I come to college, I rubber bands of cash, a little cash here and there. And then, you get to college, you buy everybody a drink. It wasn't expensive back there in the day. We had $7 all you can drink at the in between, the name of the bar. $7 all you can drink, everything, beer and all that. And the money would be gone. So I had that sweat equity all summer, grass all over me, sweating through t-shirts, cutting grass. And back then, I think that was the birth of the leaf blower. And it's still happening in my backyard today. 702-365-9200. I got a rugby interview coming up next hour. Thanks to Ray Brewer. I tell you, if there's not a lot of Raider news, I'm talking sports. I'm talking Vegas Golden Knights. They got blown out last night. The hell's going on out there with VGK? You can't get blown out by Toronto. I'll get into that next hour here on the flagship of the Silver and Black. All right, everybody. Last segment. We got to go in here. Did you hear the leaf blower? I mean, I thought I worked out well. I'm in the middle of an interview. I have to get the wife. I'm texting the wife to kind of tell the landscaper to stop. That was good. That was gold, huh? Wow. Lawn. Yeah. So we have Kaplan's tomorrow. I'm going to buy a box of golf balls. All right, everybody. Yes, yes, yes. Go Toronto Maple Leafs. Leafs came in, Pigs 76, and just crushed my VGK. They just absolutely crushed my VGK. What's going on, man? Mark Stone gets hurt every year. Every year, Mark Stone's getting hurt. Do that next hour. Live radio gold. Yeah, you got that, Fabian, man. You know, this is radio. This is what happens, man. You got leaf blowers going, you got dogs barking. You know, I like being at home 1 or 2 days a week. It's kind of nice luxury to have. And working from the Raiders. Yes, Bobby, what's up? Yeah, yeah. Mm-hmm. Mm. Oh, thank you, Fabian, for that picture. Just retweeted that. A couple quick things. We want to get more people on the live stream, so you got to spread the word. So if you could send out a link or take the link of the YouTube page and send it out. We almost got, I think, 3,000 subscribers here in 2 weeks. I think that number's pretty good. My son says it's good. It's not 2 million like McAfee, but we never did this before. So we can get this up to 10, 20,000 views or subscribers here by football season or after football season. We'll be happy with that. So we're excited to build something slow and do it the right way. Yeah, my son's a little wise ass. He put in the chat, "What's that noise?" He knows it was a leaf blower. He knows. Oh, Bobby, it was loud. I mean, it was coming right around the curve of this studio, man. Yeah, I'm sure Ray Brewer could hear it too. It's Jason Horowitz on the call. A Malcolm Kuntz strip sack. He's got to have another big year. If you don't have to go out and get another defensive end because you have Malcolm Kuntz, who's now developed into a premier edge rusher, and he's got to be premier next year. It can't be week 7. He gets going. Tyree Wilson's got to start this season off 20 pounds stronger, and just attacking. Guy's a 7th pick overall. He's got to start. He's got to be an impactful guy. And with Kuntz and Tyree Wilson and Mad Max, and then I know they're going to get a defensive tackle. 100% the Raiders are getting a defensive tackle via free agency or the draft. We've just been swinging and missing on a lot of these defensive tackles the last couple of years. I mean, come on. Anybody got the list of defensive tackles here in the last 4 or 5 years that have just been not a bust, but guys who are good on paper? And then, even Mo Hurst ended up going somewhere else and playing defense. We got to find, the season ticket holders need defensive tackles who can stay on the field, who are athletic, who are not huffing and puffing and need a water break after one play. You got to have some impact guys here, man. Tom Telesco's got to get us a defensive tackle that can come in and dominate. JT, back with you. Bobby, play the Mike Greenberg one more time before the top of the hour. We had time. We'll do it next hour. Mike Greenberg said something that I want to get to there. And next hour, we'll talk a little bit of rugby. I want to get into Josh Jacobs and free agency and what could it mean for him being tagged or not. And then we'll dive into what I think is going to be a lot of fun over the next couple of weeks is free agency. I'm big on NFL free agency, only when the Raiders have money, and they have money now. So go get some free agents. Let's get some free agents who can play, who can step in and start. I'll have some news on Max Crosby's foundation coming up. I was talking to his agent today on how we can help out Max going forward, which is going to be a lot of fun as we continue that. And it's Freddie Biletnikoff's birthday. So before I come back next hour, I'd like everybody to go on Raiders social media, retweet or find something on Fred Biletnikoff and try to get it going, trending on Fred Biletnikoff's 81st birthday today, man. 81 for Freddie B, who's just a godfather on the Mount Rushmore of all-time Raiders. People often ask me who I think is the greatest Raider of all time. Ooh, tough one. I usually say Biletnikoff and Otto, out of respect to Biletnikoff and Otto, two of the elder statesmen who were great and Hall of Famers. All right, we'll continue on. We'll talk about this rugby event. We'll thank all of our partners, and we'll do another hour. And thanks for everybody who's listening and watching on the YouTube stream, which we're really excited that we've launched here over the last couple of weeks. All right, everybody, jumping off. That was an hour. We got a couple of interviews coming up here. Spread the word. Thank you again for a good week, solid week. Next week, it's all about the Combine, what we're going to do with the Combine, how we're going to cover it here with the assistance of the Raiders and Raider Nation Radio. And everybody have a great weekend. Thanks to Modelo. Have a bucket of Modelo's, and we'll see you back here on Monday on Raider Nation Radio.